This is Bill Tinglin with Tour for Tolerance, proud sponsor of this podcast series on the Holocaust. Get ready. This week we take another powerful deep dive into history's darkest hour.
Okay, so today we're going deep into a part of the Holocaust that honestly I think sometimes gets kind of overlooked.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about the children.
Yeah.
And to do that, we've got excerpts from The Children of the Holocaust, Life Stories Never Told, which wow. Just reading through it, it's like, I mean, we all know about the Holocaust, the facts, the figures.
Right.
But seeing it through the eyes of the children, I mean, the youngest victims.
Yeah. It changes everything.
It really does. You know, it takes it from this kind of big, overwhelming historical event to something deeply personal and, well, it's heartbreaking, frankly.
It really is. And that's, I think, the power of these individual stories. It's not just numbers anymore. It's real people, real kids.
Right. Real kids with hopes and dreams, just like, you know, anyone else. And that's kind of where I wanted to start. Like, who were these children?
Well, I mean, you know, obviously a lot of people think of Jewish children when they think of the Holocaust, and that's a huge part of it.
Okay.
But the book, it really makes it clear that it went way beyond that.
Yeah.
You had Roma children with disabilities, Polish children. The Nazis, they weren't just targeting one religion, you know.
No, it was this whole racial ideology, this idea of racial purity, you know.
Exactly. And anyone who didn't fit that mold, anyone they considered undesirable,
They were targeted.
was in danger.
Yeah. And it's so, I mean, it's hard to fathom, right? Like these kids coming from all these different backgrounds, different countries, different languages.
And they're all thrown into this nightmare together.
Exactly. Just because of who they were born as.
Yeah. Just imagine for a second being, a child and being ripped from your home. Everything you know.
Your family.
Your toys, your pets.
Your whole life.
Your whole world gone.
And the thing is, it's not like this was just some random act of violence, you know?
Yeah, no. This was, it was systematic.
Exactly.
The Nazis, they had a plan.
And that's what's so terrifying. It was like step by step, this deliberate process of dehumanization.
Absolutely. And I think one of the first steps was really separating families. I mean, can you imagine the terror of a child being torn away from their parents, not knowing if they would ever see them again?
I mean, I can't even begin to imagine.
And then there were the ghettos, these overcrowded prisons, basically, where disease was rampant. I mean, the book talks about, hunger being a constant companion, children scavenging for scraps of food just to survive.
Yeah. And it wasn't just the physical deprivation.
No, it was the psychological torture, too.
Right. This slow, deliberate crushing of the spirit.
Exactly. Reading this book, it really hit me just how much the Nazis used the ghettos to kind of break people, to make them feel totally powerless even before they got to the camps.
Oh, absolutely. And then, of course, there's the arrival at the camps. Places like Auschwitz, Sobibor.
Yeah.
And, well, the book describes this selection process, this cold, almost bureaucratic way of sorting human beings. Mm-hmm. And children, the elderly, anyone deemed unfit for work, they were sent.
Straight to the gas chambers.
Straight to the gas chambers.
Yeah.
It's almost impossible to wrap your head around that level of cruelty.
Yeah. And it wasn't even just that. I mean, you also had the medical experiments. The book talks about Joseph Mengele, who is known as the Angel of Death.
Yeah.
He used children, especially twins, as his subjects.
Yeah. I mean, it's a chilling reminder of just how far human cruelty can go. But even in all of this darkness, the book does offer some glimmers of hope.
Yes, absolutely. It tells the story of, for example, Zuzanna Rubin. She was a young Jewish girl in Poland who survived by hiding in a tiny attic space for 2 years.
Oh, my gosh.
Can you imagine the courage it took to do that? The fear she must have felt every day.
Yeah. And there were other stories of resilience, too. The book also mentions the Kindertransport, this pre-war effort that actually saved thousands of children by bringing them to safety in other countries. But tragically, for most, survival was a constant battle against almost impossible odds. And even for those who did survive the camps, the trauma didn't magically disappear when the war ended.
No, definitely not. The book talks about the long-lasting effects, the psychological scars, nightmares, survivors' guilt, that struggle to make sense of what they had witnessed.
And so many of these children, they were orphaned. Left alone to navigate a world that had been completely shattered by war.
Mm-hmm. and carrying the weight of their past with them.
Right. I mean, the book talks about how some of the survivors found a way to find solace in sharing their stories,
Yeah.
wanting to make sure that the world never forgets what happened.
Yes. But others, they struggled in silence, haunted by memories they couldn't escape.
It's heartbreaking.
It is. But, it's also a testament to the strength of the human spirit, isn't it? The ability to find even a sliver of hope in the midst of such darkness. And I think that's something we should all try to carry with us.
Yeah. I mean, for me, this deep dive has really been a reminder that these weren't just statistics.
Yeah.
These were real children with real lives that were stolen. And I think it's so important that we remember that.
I agree. And not just remember, but learn from it. Confront prejudice and intolerance wherever we see it.
Absolutely. And for those of you listening, I can't recommend enough taking the time to explore these individual stories. The Children of the Holocaust. Life Stories Never Told is a great starting point. But there are so many more out there. And it's through understanding these personal experiences, these individual tragedies, that we can truly begin to grasp the immensity of the Holocaust and hopefully work to ensure that nothing like it ever happens again.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I think that's a good place to end it.
Yeah.